Yo, what up? Secret House.
Secret House against Tokyo-based hip-hop art and such.
Tokyo-based underground, independent, abstract, avant-garde, experiment, hip-hop album discussions.
Yeah.
Hey.
We're against reviews. Today, as you can hear in the background, perhaps you're familiar with it, we're going to discuss the Big Flowers, Messiah Musik, Geng, PTP collaborative project called Save the Bees. It is 17 songs and 50 minutes. It came out on July 26th, so like a little bit of a month has passed. I don't like that light on you like that, Jay.
I'm ascending right now.
Bro.
Yeah. I'll make it darker or whatever, but yeah. So yeah, this album came out about a month ago. We got it a day or two before it dropped. I was also inside of the listening party that they had on the Rap Music Plug podcast Discord. But I couldn't really stay and listen to the whole thing because it was morning time. I was getting ready for work when they were doing that. But yeah, it is written and performed by Big Flowers. He does in addition to the vocal collaborations on it, he's a rapper. They are the rapper MC artists on this project. Big Flowers, I was made aware after we did the Bloom Cycle review. Big Flowers uses they them pronouns. So if I mess that up, excuse me, sincerely. But it's also produced in its entirety by Messiah Musik, who we all know from a variety of projects, from his work with Arm & Hammer, Billy Woods, Def C, just a plethora of incredible work. And it is mixed, recorded, sonically optimized, and arranged by Geng, PTP. It features a lot of incredible rapper, vocalist artists, Denmark Vesey, More Mother, Fatboy Sharif, shout out, friend of the show, Sleep Sinatra, Nelson Bandela, Quelle Chris, Doof Pontiac, and there's a few people on here also that I don't really know of their art, such as these people. Jet, you want to read that?
We've got Kayana, Chibo, and Ritra. Vitra. Okay.
Something perhaps.
Sorry, I'm trying to read your phone screen from over here.
Yeah, excuse me. I know it's big style, but yeah. Big Flowers, aka Bloom Cycle, is a producer, MC artist from Buffalo, New York, I think. Shout out to Buffalo. I was born out there. Don't remember anything because I left when I was 2. Earlier this year, we reviewed the collaborative project they did with Sleep Sinatra. What was the name of that? Memory. Yeah. I'm bad with remembering anything, but yeah, we had some really favorable thoughts on that. Please go back and check that out. Messiah Musik is a beat maker, producer, artist from Baltimore, Maryland. Frequent collaborator with some of our favorite people, as I said earlier. Geng is a counter-industrial purveyor of weaponized media and information. One of my favorite online peoples that I've seen over the last year. We reviewed and discussed the Shook World project that he also
Vision Ultra,
that he also arranged, and it was super dope. I love Purple Tape Pedigree, aka Power Through the People, aka Protect the Peace. They are a collective and a label, and I believe this project is dropping on there. Once I make it into New York, one of these days, I'm gonna have to get like Apache Line jumped in to be a part of PTP because I just like it that much. We
Geng
also met the
a member of Atom's family.
Oh, word life. Yeah. Okay, we also just met DJ Lita a couple of weeks ago.
DJ Lita.
She ghosted me pretty hard. I actually was like, I don't mind, like she's busy out here or whatever, but she told me let's link, and then the evening she didn't respond, and the next day she was supposed to leave. I started getting worried because I didn't see any posts from her. Yeah. And when you lose somebody here in Tokyo and they're off the grid, there's like 2 options, right?
Yeah.
And the first one is they're in jail and they are not able to communicate with anybody.
Yes.
That happens so often. Yeah. So, but shout out to Lita and all the work that she's doing. Anyways, let's get into our thoughts on the album. What we like to do when we discuss an album is to let you guys know how we're familiar with their work. Jed and I just let you know that we reviewed the Bloom Cycle, we reviewed all that, and we know. But since you're here with us as a frequent collaborator, but not on any of these albums that we reviewed, what do you? How are you familiar with any of these artists?
So this was my introduction to Big Flowers, but Messiah Musik, I know of them through Billy Woods.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm a Church truther. I love Church. It's one of my favorite projects from him.
Yeah, Church is phenomenal.
I low-key kind of like enjoy it a little bit more than even Ethiops. So, yeah. Okay.
Enjoy, yes, absolutely. That word's doing some heavy lifting there, but yes.
Ethiops is kind of like a magnum opus type of thing for me when it comes to Billy, but it's like Church goes.
Yes.
But yeah, let me keep the album moving. But yeah, okay. So since we know that, let's go ahead and get into our general thoughts on the album. How are you guys? How you guys feeling? Who wants to go first?
I like that Mr. Solomon appears a couple of times on the album. He feels kind of like an anchor for the album, you know. He's the beginning, the middle, the end, like all that stuff. And I did enjoy hearing the conversations he had with the listener, I guess. So that was nice.
Word.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is like a really, really complete and kind of well-rounded record. There's a lot of like, I really enjoy this kind of juxtaposition of the sort of environmentalist themes with the kind of broader, more human-centric, you know, humanist themes you have on the album. You know, the idea that, you know, the bees are, we are also the bees.
Yeah.
You know, obviously the bees need saving, but also like we as
a lot of the titles are like entendres or metaphors
some
for
kind
things.
of
antenna, carpentry, you know,
Drones,
carpenter swarms,
pollinate.
drones. The worker drones are also there's allusions to actual drone warfare, and a lot of those things show up. Pollinate, remain as fragrant. So
and you know, I think although we have shown a lot of love for albums that maybe have like a more left-leaning political persuasion, I feel like we haven't seen that much like environmentalism in a lot of the hip hop we listen to.
Yeah.
Eco-socialism is, or
Eco-socialism,
like environmentalism is not really on the docket for most MCs in their thoughts.
Exactly. So
this album stands out in that regard for sure.
It definitely stands out in that respect as well. And I think, you know, with Messiah Music's production, you do get that kind of very like naturalistic, you know, you're in a field like kind of sensation. You know, this track right here, which I believe is track 2 of the album, Threads. It's like, you have this kind of, you know, I hate to use this so soon again. I accidentally hit heat and not cool.
That shit hit me like somebody's hot breath real quick. As soon as you said that, I was like, yuck, what is happening here? I got the little fan going on. Yeah, shout out to this. What is like 36 degrees today?
No, the sensation, I mean, yeah, it's flowers, right? It's the blooming. And I think the fact that all of that kind of weaves through the album thematically while also being like a very beautifully produced piece of art with some really hard bars in it, like works really, really well for the record. It's very much just continuing the like wonderful streak that PTP have been on at the moment. You know, some of the stuff that's coming out of Purple Tape Pedigree at the moment is just on that level of like, you know, it's fucking hard, but it's also like always consistently interesting, and it's always kind of exploring like themes that kind of matter like a little bit more than just sort of being good at rapping or being good at art for the sake of art's sake.
Word. My walk away, like, this is, I really, really enjoy this album. The combination of the three of these artists is like it's a really dope culmination of different styles working together. It's almost like three great jazz men coming together and creating something new. It doesn't sound like Bloom Cycle's, you know, the last work that we listened. It doesn't necessarily sound like Messiah Musik, and it doesn't necessarily sound like the work that I've heard from Geng. But together they created this really cohesive, kind of very full and like comprehensive journey. It feels like a complete ride. It doesn't feel, to me, when I listen to this album, I don't listen to it in terms of this song is good, that song is good. I like to think of this album as a full kind of a very intentional listen. The sequencing, the little callbacks, the through line with Mr. Solomon, and things are all working in tandem to create an experience. And that's one of the things that I really like about this album. When it comes to the production, Messiah Musik is capable of like creating so many of these different type of vibes that sound wholly different. Like this song Threads, it sounds beautiful and flowery, almost like a open pasture or a field with dandelions or some shit growing. But then you switch to another track and it creates a completely different vibe. But all throughout the album, it's almost cinematic in a way, the way that they've kind of laid this out. And that's one of my favorite things about the album. Another thing is that, like, when I listen to Big Flowers' rap style, right? You know, there's a bit of a when a lot of people think about rap music, and I was just talking to Free Music Empire and Departure this morning about this, right? There's an inclination that when we discuss rap music, it must be done from the idea of this kind of combat sport or a sporting type of vibe where you have these criterias that you would rank rappers and use them to combat that style versus another style. Right. And I think that is, you know, obviously I like to say that the ninth element of hip hop is arguing about hip hop, but I don't think that all hip hop artists are working towards that tradition. There's also a tradition of artists who are making just art, and you don't compare poems, you don't battle poems, you don't battle things like that. Of course, we all have within hip hop, we all want to be dope, we all want to say fly things, but when it comes to Big Flowers rap styles, they are not necessarily a great rapper that you could put alongside a Ka or we're using that criteria of writing, or a great styler that like a Micah 9 that you could use that kind of double time chopping, or a great styler in terms of, I don't know, name another MC that people say is the greatest. But the thing for me is that, you know, despite there not being a lot of uses of these poetic devices, you know, similes and metaphors, there are these like multisyllabic runs. And to me, I really like this kind of stream of conscious but yet focus styler approach, like this kind of auto poesy, this amplification of personal experience, cares, and thoughtfulness that come from their rap style. To me, I don't listen to this and be like, yeah, you know what, like fucking, if only that bar was different or better. What? Like, I don't have a lot of bars on this that I'm like, ooh, crazy. But I have a lot of songs on this. I'm like, wow, like they got that emotion off, or the resonance, the frequency that they're all on with the sequencing, the production, and the styling is something that I connect with. And also, again, this has things that separate it from so many of the other albums that we listen to, that we enjoy. There's a lot of tropey music that is happening in the underground independent. Yes. Not to say that it's not good. I like a lot of the tropey. I like the discount mics. I like the discount Earls. I like the drumless minimal things that a lot of, a variety of the styles. Sure. But what I find here is a wildly unique experience that is complete from top to bottom, that you just don't really find in this, especially with the eco-awareness and the kind of community-based intentionality of where they're coming from with this. These are all, for lack of a better word, comrades in their thoughts, their ideologies, and how they approach art. And that's one of the things that makes this stand out. This is not, let me grab a feature here, let me grab a feature here. Like, I mean you don't have a name like Denmark Vesey and not be fucking Denmark Vesey-ish. Yes. You know, like, and this is just, this is just something that is so spontaneous and wonderful yet focused. Like, we really have to do away with judging things by this combative criteria and really start rocking with these people just as artists who create, through the chaos, create these new spontaneous orders. And this album is so full of that shit for me.
You see that when even they refer to their group as a colony,
Word.
So just in tune with nature, with the bees, just existing and working towards a common goal,
Word.
So
and that's something that I think we've seen across the board with PTP and what is coming out of that label. And whether it's this or the Yata that's coming out soon, or Nakama, the Nakama EPs that we're kind of in the process of seeing, which is going to culminate in an album, I believe, the King Vision Ultra. They're all very wonderfully arranged, and you have this really great variety of features that kind of come in and make their contribution, and everyone bounces off of each other so well. Like, the energy just generally across all of these records, and this one in particular, is just, I think, one of communal spirit and positivity over the sort of more paternalistic and combative nature of hip-hop. I don't, like, it's always fun to keep score with hip-hop, when you got a feature, I think Open Mike Eagle took this one, but Video Day's fucking nice on this one.
Sure.
Like, I think, that competitive element is a lot of fun, but it's clearly not
right,
really in the scope of this record to be like, yeah, this person's the illest, this person's, you know, better. Like it
takes away something from the art if the artist is not trying to achieve that themselves. You know, like there's nothing on this album that is really Big Flowers saying like I'm better than you at hip hopping. That doesn't come across at all to me. Of course there's things where it's like, you know, I see the bitch in you evolve and, you know, styling and being great and dope, but like how do you like the Swarm with More Mother? Like how do you even begin to compare that to it's an apples to orange conversation when you compare that to like what Mike is trying to accomplish or what name any other artist. Like,
I mean, More Mother's poem, like, you know, I mean, it's, you know, between verse and poetry, of course, and the way that it's delivered is you know, bordering on this very spoken word in nature. It's beautiful. I mean, like the imagery at play here. I think, you know, it's probably it's roughly in the middle of the album, right? It's track 7 of 17. So coming up to the middle point of the album, and it's this like really wonderfully kind of delivered, very vivid imagery, and you have again this kind of balance between the bees in the very literal sense and, you know, this idea of like all the bees dancing, you know, and this kind of human interaction, this human communication. It's like another variant of More Mother's kind of Afrofuturist tendencies, where you have like a kind of utopian vision of community through the lens of the bees in this case.
There are a few threads that I think are kind of present in the album. One of them is like living in the now. Like if you listen to this Mr. Solomon things, it's like, you know, like judge people for how they be, not how they were type of things. And also, you know, the kind of nature and the bees kind of metaphors and allusions are all working towards kind of expressing a few different things. And I think that's also one of the more interesting parts about trying to figure out what this is like doing and trying to achieve. And, you know, with a song like this, like I think about what More Mother's doing. It's like, you know, it doesn't say anything about the queen, but it's like watch the swarm, and you have a figure like More Mother. Like who else could possibly be the queen bee? You know, there's a lot of things like with drones. The next track, drones is, you know, those are the bees that go out and pollinate,
the workers,
that come back with you know, and create the honey. And also it's also about drones and being watched and microphone lenses in your house and a lot of these things that are kind of towards diagnosing the ills and the experience of Big Flowers in the day-to-day world, but also this kind of scenic world of nature that exists in harmony. And, you know, so many of the songs just do that, and the features on this album are healthily contributing to that. Most of the features that are coming in, it wasn't like, yo, give me a verse, and they just come in and it was like, by the way, I'm dope at rapping and this is it. Everybody really tries to come in and drop something on the same frequency. And that's one of the great things about this album is that like this is a certain frequency that if you tap into it, you might get something out of it. And also Big Flowers be dropping some fucking lines. Like if you ignore black influence, then you dispute black power. And Sleep is so dope on this too. He really plugs the bee symbolism with, you know, honeypots and queens. If it's original, it's got like this is I keep on finding little clicks and dibbles and little production approaches and the way that things are panned that, you know, I think that's probably Geng's work, but they really make this something more than a couple tracks of different samples and a couple raps over it. There's something here that is really fantastic, and I pretty much love every single song on this.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. We needed honey that was feeding us stevia.
If you ain't patron to the fight, best believe we ain't poised to stay to the left, hook, or right. Never noticing the flowers till they surround you in a tomb.
Yeah, you know,
it's not a subtle flex.
I have faith in my friends that we're going to keep growing. Like, yeah, like I thought I made more notes, but I guess I was just jamming. I thought I was just fucking listening because I've had this on repeat for quite a bit. But like this beat, Messiah Musik has a like this ability to like really make like the sounds he puts together like really resonate with me. Like what is it? Schism with Fat Ray.
Yes,
on the church joint. Like when that beat comes in, I don't know, something about it is just like I'm vibrating right there. And there's a few tracks on this that really do that for me. This joint right here. Focus on the Tulips. Pontiac, So Hard. Vitra, perhaps. Super dope. Like, I'm just going to kind of click through some of these. Perdita, is that it?
Perdita, yeah.
Perdita, yeah.
Beat the Op, Save the Bees. Bird Brain with Doof and Quelle Chris. It's kind of like a midnight creepy type of joint, but you know, Doof and Quelle are super hard on it.
Bird Brain is my favorite verse.
I think the second. Oh wait. No, which one is it? No, it's the first Mr. Solomon interlude. Just this beat. I looped this forever, and I was just rapping to myself or thinking to myself. Yeah, Pollinate with Fatboy Sharif. Fatboy Sharif is really that fucking hookah caterpillar in Alice in Wonderland for me, bro. He's just fucking chilling and it's just like, yo, I don't know if I get it, but yeah. What are your guys'? I don't know how much more I have to say about this other than I highly recommend people check this out and also stop comparing apples to oranges with everything and yeah. What are your favorite songs on this one?
Do you want to go first, Deza?
Yeah, sure. Bird Brain, Perdita, Threads. My favorite beat was Enzyme.
Okay.
And Threads, yeah, those are my favorite beats.
I'd probably go with Antenna with Denmark Vesey, The Swarm with More Mother, and maybe Pollinate with Sharif. Only track on the album that like I didn't really care for was the album closer, B1080. Yeah, B1080.
Oh, really?
I like the field recording.
It's beautiful.
The COVID stuff is a bit strange to me. But,
I just it kind of ends on this kind of very conspiratorial note. I don't know who is delivering this monologue. And personally I disagree with a lot of it. I can take or leave that. But I just felt like it kind of ran a little bit long. And I didn't particularly care for what was being said on there, so like I kind of tuned out a little bit on the final track.
I got that final track as well. Big Flowers is playing the guitar.
Yes.
I really like that.
And the guitar work on there is there's a couple of moments of some really nice guitar work on this album. Actually, you even get some moments where it's like you can tell this was like a very naturally taken take, where there's like little bits of like fret buzz or like some dissonance here and there. And I think it works really well with just the more naturalistic vibe that the album is putting across.
Yeah, I disagree with the orientation, but I sympathize with the sentiment when it comes to this kind of like anti-vax, I don't want to say anti-science type of vibe, but yeah, when it comes to that, yeah, I personally really I'm a big fan of like drone and field recordings and stuff, so I really do enjoy that track a lot. But my favorite songs on the album are Remain is Fragrant with Nelson Mandela, also Save the Bees with Sleep Sinatra, and perhaps Antenna with, I don't know, it's hard for me to say. The first two that I mentioned are clear and above my favorites. Remain is Fragrant, this beat just has a grip on me. This might be one of my favorites. This is undoubtedly one of my favorite songs of the year, but by the end of the year I may have listened to this song more than any other song of the year. I really love this beat. Like, yeah, it just works for me. So yeah, this album, highly recommend. Definitely pay attention. Go support them. Go put some money down. Shout out to all the people we rock with.
Also, the cover. I just want to say one last thing.
I'm actually. I was supposed to get back to Big Flowers this week. They did that cover. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
I think so. I'm not exactly sure who did it.
It was done by a Palestinian woman.
Okay, perhaps.
Her name is Amal. So I noticed that specifically because my sister also named that.
I might be completely wrong with that.
Yeah. So
okay.
I'm on the Bandcamp. That cover is made by Amal. some Palestinian woman. I'm not sure if she lives in America or she's in Palestine, but yeah.
Okay.
So I think it kind of just comes full circle with that as well, you know.
Okay.
So
yeah, I'm gonna get with Big Flower soon. I forgot to respond to them this week because we were stuck at home all week with COVID. But yeah, I think hopefully Big Flowers can design our banner and icon for Secret House soon. Put some money in their pocket, and yeah, you know, this is a big part of this album for me too. It's like we don't do this show in order to like profit or make money. We don't try to finesse the algorithm to get more people on our videos. All of the money that we get here, it goes to Jet's train fare and back into a few different Patreons that we support of people in our community, and then albums that we purchase with our money. Like, we got this album for free from the homies, but you know who paid for the shit too? Even if it's just digital. It's like, think about, you know, sometimes it ain't where you listening, where you at, it's what you do with it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, support all them. Caltrops Press, Noname Book Club, Call Out Culture, Rap Music Plug Podcast, The Sonic Cloth,
Free Music Empire, Focus HipHop. All the links are in the doodly-doo in the bio. Yeah, support all of them. And when you support us, sometimes it helps support them too. Also, Extraordinary Rap Music Podcast. Yeah, farewell. And yeah, save the bees. You know,
the bees, man.
You see a little bee on the ground. Like, it's hot right now in a lot of places. You see a bee on the ground.
Yeah.
You know, get a little sugar water. Leave it in a spoon for the bee.
These are the homies, man.
Help it out. We need them.
Yeah.
You know, when the bees are gone, that's it.
Beat the
We're dead.
ops. Save the bees. I should have dropped some eco-socialism books on y'all. I forget the names of them right now, but yeah, I got a few. Hit me up or join the Discord if you guys want to discuss those type of things. We recently got another Japanese Marxist in there. We've got Ashley, who is a Marxist in there, and it's starting to get really Marxy in there. It's starting to get really a scientific socialism, dialectical in there. So yeah, we're just building.
Oh yeah, like recommended artists.
Yeah.
You got a recommendation you want to hit us with?
Please. That was on my. We used to do that, but we don't do it so much. But yeah, but recommend.
I mean, like Elucid.
Oh sure,
like,
yeah.
I mean, he's featured on the album as well, like Sleep Sinatra.
I would recommend Mary Sue.
Oh yeah,
Mary Sue
that's
work.
a good shout.
I think that a lot of the vibe cultivated by Mary Sue and the collective that they rock with, as well as this album, kind of are very similar in how they are freaking production and pushing it forward and creating these works of art. So yeah, I'd recommend Mary Sue for this. And also, I would recommend even The Pedestrian.
Oh yeah, that's a good show.
Yeah. I mean, Pedestrian don't make music no more, but go listen to Bright Moments.
The Throne album that we reviewed a few weeks back.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Also got a very kind of sublime, like nature kind of oriented vibe going with it. And yeah, that's also another one that's like independently produced underground hip hop.
Yeah,
it's fucking ill.
True that. Farewell.
Yeah. Get out.
Sayonara.
Set ablaze, looking like a phoenix rising or a funeral pyre.
Looking like a phoenix rising or a funeral pyre.
For so long before I need to reach another form of new seed.